The last few minutes always kind of disappear on me, but at least I know it starts at 7 now. I'm not kind of getting ready for 8:30 like I did before 7:30 here. Anyway, just chill for a bit. We're discovering ourselves, meditation and application. So always when you begin to sit or to just be, you allow yourself, you check in with yourself, see how you are. How's your body? If you're at ease, fine, just continue. But if there's tension, if there's any tension at all, you just notice it and release. Be kind to yourself. Allow yourself to be. If your mind or something is bothering you, apply a method then. By that I mean just breathe. Well, you continue breathing, but attention to your breath for a moment or two, and then drop the method. something pops into mind, that you're okay, you can see it, you're still here. Release. You're seeing, hearing, leaving things as they are. Seems like a pity to interrupt this, but would you like to have a look and see at what I mean by filters and have a look at your own filters? And this was almost like a revelation for me, because you hear about all these things like obscurations, um, things that basically, when they're removed, there's a saying from the Hevajra Tantra that says sentient beings are obscured by adventitious stains. When those stains or obscurations are removed, they are Buddhas indeed. Goes something like that. I couldn't find the exact quote. But I used to find these notions of obscuration, or even the notion of an habitual tendency or something. It can sometimes almost feel like original sin. Do you know, I don't know how many of you have that kind of um, feeling of encumbrance from something like that. You know, something is wrong with you. Um, that kind of feeling. Um, for me, it was very strong anyway. So it really, really helped to um, just to say a little bit what I mean about filters. Filters are something that get in the way between, that block you, that are there between you and seeing reality as it is, seeing things as they actually are. You know, do you have an idea of what that kind of filter might be in your own experience? And you can chip in here.
You want to give an example, Cecily, of what you found?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, a belief.
A belief.
Yeah.
Such
Can
as,
I ask, do you mean shame? Is it like
Shame.
shame?
It could be something like that. Yeah, kind of an attitude towards yourself. That kind of thing. Now, those kinds of things are, I'm not, here it's when it's kind of pervasive and it gets in the way. Like it's great to feel ashamed of something that you've done. That's very legitimate. That's fine. So I'm not talking about the feeling or an emotion like shame and stuff like that, but it's a belief in something, like, or a belief. Belief is probably a good word rather than an emotion or something, because a belief, you might believe that things are unchanging. Mingyur Rinpoche gives that as an example. A belief that, oh, it's always going to be like this. I'm always going to be like this. Okay, I am bad. I am obscured.
That's it in a nutshell, Cecily.
Yep. Thanks, Ursula. Anyone else with ideas as to what kind of filters might get in the way of them seeing, of you seeing?
I was always told I had a head like a sieve, and I used to believe it for so long. I'm afraid we said, "Oh, I have a head like a sieve," um, and then I kind of challenged myself to kind of drop that kind of thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because when you believe something like that you have a head like a sieve, that can, Sogyal Rinpoche used to say, you not only believe it, but you become it as well. It almost becomes how you operate or excuse for how you do things. The moment I had, excuse me, I just turned down the heater here. The moment I had a really strong kind of connection with the fact that I had a filter working or operational and blocking me from seeing reality, was when I was gripped by fear and I could feel it in my stomach. And this fear had to do with other people's behavior, their attitudes towards things, what they were saying, and how I felt kind of like I didn't have a voice, or I felt incapacitated by it. I felt I felt really at a loss, I don't know whether you've gone through that kind of experience yourself, of that kind of fear of situations. Maybe going into meetings or hearing people talk, and they're expressing things that you find either hurtful or really, really stupid, or something that goes against everything that you feel strongly.
But Cecily, isn't it much more subtle than that in a lot of ways? In the sense that anything, like, this sounds like big now, but anything that stands in the way of you embodying your Buddha nature basically is a filter.
Yeah. That
Any kind of thought or position, or I remember years and years ago I was doing something really complicated in Rigpa Finance, and I thought I couldn't do it, and I was like really almost crying, and then I thought, hold on, I should be able to do it. I have Buddha nature. I can do anything. And I just stepped back and I just became completely spacious. and I knew how to do it.
Yeah, yeah,
But that little thought, I cannot do it, is a filter.
yeah. That's the kind of thing I'm getting at. Thank you, Evelina. It's just, it was just so pervasive. But how I noticed the filter is what really, really helped me. Is because I felt it in my stomach, or sometimes you might feel it like an emotion or a sense of loss in your throat. That's somewhere else where I feel these things. So it's not just kind of up in your head. Thinking and up in your head has a lot to do with it, yes. But I didn't notice it until I was almost ill from this fear or sense of dread. But then when I noticed it, like you said, Evelina, I realized that's not me. I'm actually much, much bigger than that. You know, and because I noticed it, there was something like I was able to release. And in that release, I just felt such ease because the awareness is always there. It's just that the tension or the filter had blocked it from me before. So I was kind of glad that I had noticed, you know, because otherwise that would have been my reality. I was actually feeling ill and I thought that that was it, you know, that was my reality. But then I realized that there was more to it, that there was mind was involved and there's like the gut brain connection. And it was all very kind of tight and inhibitory and closed in on itself. But then when I just got that kind of key and could see it as not being me, and like I had the teachings and a method, and the method was to just release. You know, it sounds really simple, but it had become very, it had become so pervasive for me. I really like my habitual tendency getting locked in with other people's habitual tendencies and everything as well. So just in that moment, then the tension was cut. And Mingyur Rinpoche, he puts it very, very well. He's talking about the when we move from belief to experience. And he says, once we move from the belief that things are unchanging, like I thought that was it, to the experience that everything is transitory. This was like the change that happened. The tension between our expectations and reality as it is begin to dissolve. Now, all my expectations were locked into that kind of fear. And then he says, if we stay with recognition of awareness, the problem will resolve on its own. So attention seems to come when we can't see reality as it is. So let's just release. You are actually huge. You are vast, not limited at all. Something pops up. You're still here. You're okay. Profound and tranquil, free from complexity, uncompounded luminous clarity. This is the mind of the victorious ones. In this, there is nothing to be added, nothing to be taken away. It's merely the immaculate looking naturally at itself. You're definitely okay. So if you'd like to go into your chat rooms,